Hi, welcome to the channel, Budget Audio Review and Upgrades, and today, as some people may have already spotted, I've actually swapped the driver from this Music Fidelity MC2 speaker. I've swapped it with a Mordaunt TI-25 speaker driver. Took the speaker out of this and plonked it in there basically. Now this driver is actually using the Mordaunt 25s, 35s, 45s and 55 TIs, so it's probably it's a driver that sorts out all them speakers for them, so it's a pretty universal driver for Mordaunt in that particular range. Okay, the reason I took it out of here, a few people suggested maybe because I didn't really rate it's okay, this speaker, but you know, I weren't going over mad about it. It was okay-ish, like, you know what I mean, but the bass unit or the bottom end frequencies, the kind of drumming and that did let this speaker down, and I was going to kind of scrap these speakers here really, sell them as parts and that, because I've got the 35s, a couple of pairs of the 35s actually, and the 55s, so I thought I'll get rid of these and use parts. But you know, as they're both the same size drivers, both 8-inch drivers, I could probably swap it over, so I thought why not give it a go. A few people suggested it as well, just to see if it made any difference at all, or if it made it worse or if it made it better. So what I'm going to do, before I actually do the side by side and go through a few things, how I did it, just a few photographs basically, one thing I will say I noticed is that apart from this is slightly lighter than this one, come to that in a minute, is actually the cone itself. This is like a polypropylene cone or something like that they called it, like plastic basically, and it's quite a thick plastic. You know, when you put your fingers and feel the thickness of the cone, it's quite thick. Well, this is a paper cone, this is, and it's thinner. It's a thinner cone than this cone here. Another thing I noticed is when pushing this in, I just got to give it a little bit more of a push to get it to go the same as this one here, like, you know, pushing it in, and it just seems that this one seems a little bit quicker coming in and out. I think this is a little bit more rigid. This outer here is a little bit more rigid, a little bit, you know, harder than this actual plastic. You know, kind of got a rubber kind of out on both of them, but this one seems to just have a little bit more give, and the actual rubber, you know, just seems like a bit quicker kind of thing. So I just thought I'd mention that. But what we're going to do, I'm going to show you both the speakers side by side, kind of compare them as much as we can before we do the swap over, to kind of give an idea exactly, you know, how similar-ish they maybe are, or you know, how they're kind of slightly different from each other in what way. So here they are on the table, both side by side. The first thing you're going to notice is the Mordaunt. I'm just going to refer to it as the Mordaunt now. This is the TI-25 speaker, and the Music Fidelity. I'm just going to call it Music Fidelity. The Mordaunt is slightly bigger than the Music Fidelity speaker. There's another view of it there, just so you can see that. Now the diameter of the Mordaunt is approximately 8.5 centimetres. The actual magnet at the back, well, the Music Fidelity is 7.5, and they're both the same depth. I think they were 25mm in depth, so just 1 centimetre actually bigger in circumference. We're going to weigh them both here as well, just a matter of interest. As you can see, the Music Fidelity weighs in at 1,197 grams, while the Mordaunt weighs in at 1,366 grams, so you can see it is a little bit heavier there. Now, to take this Music Fidelity speaker out, or any speaker you're going to take out, you may have to unsolder it, unclip it, etc. Just make sure you know what the positive is, which is the negative. And as you can see here, the yellow wire is the positive. It's the one going to the terminal where the little red dot is indicating the positive. As you can see, arrow there, the yellow arrow. It's a little red dot, so that's the positive. So just know, now you know the yellow wire is positive. So when you come up to connect the Mordaunt speaker, you can connect it on the positive terminal, and obviously the other colour wire goes to the other one. So before we actually do that, also measured the impedance of both these speakers, and as you can see, the Music Fidelity was 6.5 ohms, while the Mordaunt was 6.1 ohms. So how much difference that's actually going to make, crossover wires and volume wise, maybe that kind of thing, I don't know really, honestly myself, but maybe someone could comment on that. But all I'm going to do now is I'll give it a good listen. I'm going to give you a little listen as well. Hopefully you can pick up this through your speakers. And the recording equipment I've got is not brilliant, but hopefully it's okay. Give you maybe some kind of idea. I'm going to play the same track twice. Once with the original Music Fidelity MC2 driver. Then that driver will be, you'll see the speaker with the driver replaced by this Mordaunt driver. I'm going to play the same track again, same volume, everything exactly the same. You know, the mic, everything's set up exactly the same, and hopefully you may be able to pick up the difference between the two recordings. So I'll come back at the end and give my final thoughts. Okay, so hopefully you may be able to pick up the difference, and maybe you didn't, so you're maybe going to be relying on what I say, but hopefully some people would have picked up the difference. So how did they sound after me replacing this driver with the Mordaunt short driver? Well, I've got a few things written down, but I can pretty much remember because, you know, obviously, like, I'll give it a good listen. All the tracks I played before, I played the same tracks again. The first thing I noticed, obviously, we're talking bass, right? The main difference here is going to be towards the bottom end kind of thing. The main thing you notice straight away is where this speaker used to thump a lot, used to give that thumping noise. It all but eliminated that, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's still some there, but it was a lot more controlled. It sounded a lot better. So that sounded nice. Hopefully, that's come over in the recording somewhere along the line. But you know, being here in the room, you could definitely tell the difference. That's the first thing I noticed. Second thing I did mention with the original driver in there, that the drums sounded like they had like a cushion or a pillar stuck in them, and it was kind of like, you know, muffled and low, and, you know, not getting the right tune out of them kind of thing. It seemed like that pillars have all been taken out, and we can now hear the kit again, like, you know what I mean, the kit was coming back into action and sounded nice. In fact, this driver here, this particular driver, it's got the flat on the front, because they do another driver in the Mordaunt shorts. It's kind of like got the like a dome kind of effect. This speaker is quite a tight sounding speaker, this speaker, you know, when it's tight. Where the one with a little dome on it, it's not quite as tight. There's a little bit of a subtle difference there. But this particular speaker is quite a tight speaker, so it sounded nice, you know what I mean? It did sound nice. Going around the kit sounded very nice, you know what I mean? You could hear the kit now, you know, it sounded good. It wasn't, you know, it was nowhere near as muffled as I felt the other one was, like, you know what I mean? It was kind of like struggling kind of thing. It sounded a lot more freer, a lot more open, this speaker as well, sounded more freer, more relaxed, you know, it just sounded a lot better. Vocal wise, it did change the vocals slightly for the better, because before I thought like the vocals were just, you know, being emphasised down towards the bottom end kind of thing. This time it lifted the vocals back up. It weren't so bassy, the vocals, so to speak, so the vocals sounded more natural, sounding, you know, better, the vocals, I thought. Yeah, so all in all, it done them, you know, it helped them out as well. Top end wise, it isn't going to change that really, is it? Because it's still the same tweeter in there. I didn't really notice any difference at all, you know what I mean? I know that crossover maybe just slightly changed slightly the frequencies or something like that. I'm not too sure exactly how that would work for 0.4 of an ohm, but I didn't notice any difference. The treble still rolled off, still sounded pretty well, it sounded exactly the same as it did before, so there's no difference there. Like I say, I played the same tracks that I usually play, etc. So all in all, you know, this sounded a lot better, this speaker definitely sounded a lot better, sounded more open, sounded more relaxed, sounded more free. All in all, pretty pleased, you know, just for swapping this driver over. And these drivers ain't dear. You can go on eBay and probably pick up one for £10 at the moment. So they're not a dear driver at all. Quite common as well, because they're in the they're in the 25s, the 35s, 45s, and 55s. So they're quite a common driver. You know, and all in all, it's quite a nice little speaker. Like, it's a good replacement. It was a good replacement from this. I'm not going to say it's going to be a good replacement for everyone's unit. And it fitted in there nice and easy. You know what I mean? The screws, when I first started up the screws, the was a very slightly different, very, you know, literally a millimetre or so, but once you started tightening the screws up, it kind of got it all in position, and it's in there as it should be, sitting as it should be. So all in all, like now, I feel these speakers are a lot better. I don't know what I was going to do with the other speakers, to be honest with you, but I'm going to leave these drivers in now as they are, and maybe put these drivers on eBay. Someone may need them for their set of MC2s, but I feel like that maybe there's two different, you know, there's a different driver for maybe the Mark 1s and a different driver for these maybe being the Mark 2 Music Fidelity 2s, and maybe the Mark 1s was a lot, you know, going by reviews and forums, etc., that the actual Mark 1 driver was a lot better than this driver was. You know, it's just my opinion. Like I say, it seemed a bit slow. The cone was quite thick. I don't know if it's got anything to do with it, but, you know, there was a difference between this, and this being as it is, a paper cone, slightly thinner. Like I say, that being a bit faster and push it in easier to push in, it did make the speaker sound a lot better. So what I'm going to do with these is probably give them to a mate. I've got a couple of mates still that's got not very good HiFi, like, you know what I mean, I'm trying to get them into it kind of thing. And these are going to sound really good. I mean, these do sound pretty good now, and I was quite surprised. They did make a big difference down here. Hopefully, like I say, you picked up in the video, but obviously I can't play other copyright tracks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it made a vast difference. Definitely, so getting rid of that thud, making the sound more clearer, a little bit more open and that, and, you know, overall definitely improved the sound. So that was quite an interesting little experiment there, really. Something that I keep saying I want to do and never get around to doing, but I thought I better do this one. So, you know, don't keep saying to people, yeah, I'll do that later on, I'll do that later on. I've actually got round to doing it. So there you go. I hope you found that fairly interesting. Until the next video, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.